Welcome. My name is Erik van Wijhe. This is my colleague Pierre van Elswijk. We work for Tuuring. This session is about our journey designing a world-class AIOps platform with Elastic. So this is the agenda. First I do an introduction about the Turing and the Elastic solution. We talk about the IT complexity within the performance area. Then of course how we address it with Elastic and Turing. And finally the questions and the wrap-up. Okay, like I said, we work for Turing. You may recognize the name Turing. It's from Alan Turing. He is the guy who invented basically the first computer that could solve really big challenges and questions. And we believe we have done the same. We have developed a platform. It's Turing with a W, so if you know Alan Turing, it's with one U. That's because of we were inspired by a Dutch verb, ik tuur, which means I observe. Because observe is what you do a lot within the performance consulting. The observability is a never-ending story. The challenge is to keep the performance on a high level. Was in the past the case, is in the future the case, and is growing bigger and bigger. Because organizations and companies are taking digital transformation steps. They have new technology to enable their business, to bring their businesses to the market. It makes our work easier and more efficient. Companies stay ahead of the competition with really cutting edge technology. However, in the back end, the IT gets more pressure to guarantee the performance of the services. So, like I said, we are an international team of performance consultants, and what we saw is, we look at all this data. We have to figure out where issues are, where we can optimize processes, how we can help companies. However, the data and the insights that we see are not relevant. We're not able to interpret manually. That time is already way past us. So that was the trigger to develop Turing. For the future, we see that with all this new technology evolving, we have to have something to keep up with that. We have to offer the companies something to keep up with that. And that is basically what has been developed. The Turing and Elastic combination is so powerful. Elastic has the AI, Elastic has the platform, the data management platform. Turing has the domain knowledge. However, it has to be combined. That is what we've done in this combination. Pierre will show you more about the journey, starting with the ID, resulting in the Turing platform. So Pierre, go ahead.
Thank you, Erik. Yeah, so we often get the question asked about, performance challenges. Why are they complicated? If something is not fast enough, just speed it up, fix it and make it fast. We wish it was that easy. It never is. Erik mentioned, the many different data sources involved. It's often like solving puzzles, and every time it's a different one. So in order to explain that properly, I'm going to take you through a story, a real life story that it's already quite some years back. I was involved in that. It was a large corporation, large enterprise, where we had to do a system upgrade, right? So you'll be familiar with those. The business had given us very strict deadlines. So 72 hours, everything needed to be over. Because it was so critical, we did a couple of test runs. First one was an absolute disaster. We were much too slow. Second one, I think we were still over 24 hours too slow. Third time had to go well. So we needed a proper root cause. Why was this not fast enough? And to give you an example of what we faced, this is actually what the analysts, like Forrester, Gartner, those type of companies, when they talk about observability, observing digital performance, they give pictures like these with many different data sources. And this is effectively what we had even all those years back, right? So we had a situation with existing monitoring, We had people monitoring us, basically the project, if we were doing it right. System admins, database admins. We had the proprietary change technology. We had a lot of management attention because it was a critical upgrade. Project communications, of course, and the business owners themselves, right? So we had 8 sources of data already, and with that, kind of perceptions, right? And they will alter your view of what is really the root cause. So at some stage, we thought we had figured it out, and yeah, is that because of group pressure or the attention? It doesn't matter. We figured it was the infra that wasn't fast enough, so we blamed the system administrator. And I've been one myself, many years past, so I know how that feels. But it was the easy solution. However, it didn't feel right and it didn't match up with what we ultimately saw. So what we did was 4 full days of analytics, of the sources that you just saw, looking at the metrics, looking at the change tooling, what did it tell us, right? Because we needed to get to the absolute, we needed to fix it. We needed to have a real root cause. And it turned out we were completely wrong because it wasn't the system administrator's fault. It wasn't that infrastructure wasn't fast enough. It was the time between steps. We had more than 1,000 steps to execute, and the transition time between those steps, that actually is what killed the performance. So this was the real root cause. We were completely wrong with the initial one. And this has been one of the triggers really to, as Eric said, if we had the technology then that we have developed now, we would have been much, much faster in coming to this root cause.
So Pierre, talking about this issue, you talk about a lot of manual work. How much did the monitor tooling actually contribute to that?
That's a good question. A number of the tools, they gave ready-made metrics, but none of it was correlated. So all that correlation needed to happen manually. I think we spent almost 3 days of manual work on, stitching it all together and getting to the bottom of it. So way too much manual work, which is a good bridge into, what have we developed and what I'm going to show you a little bit later live. Turing Performance Insights. So it's an AIOps solution, an AIOps platform. You might think, what is AIOps? AIOps stands for Artificial Intelligence for Operations. So Eric also mentioned this, it is no longer possible to go through all this data by hand. We need to use the technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning. It is no longer possible by people or even a big team of people to go through all that data by hand. So when we were designing the system, we had a ton of requirements, right? And we obviously picked Elastic. Elastic ticked a lot of the functionality boxes, but still, there were alternatives. Easily half a dozen we can name that could have done the job. Some better on features, others maybe less so. Elastic for us was the total solution. And what is also really important is that, you mentioned this, Eric, we think that this is going to be a challenge many years coming. The digital transformations, they're only accelerating. Technology is accelerating. It sometimes looks like it gets easier on the outside for the end user, but underneath it just gets more and more complex. So we needed to have a future-proof solution, which was one of the real reasons also why we chose Elastic. Of course, artificial intelligence itself, machine learning capabilities, Elastic is known for that. So that was a big driver for picking this technology stack. And artificial intelligence is, everyone talks about it, right? So, but really, when they talk about it, what do they mean? Or if you're building a system like we were, what do they need? What did we need? I can show you that we have made use of a lot of building blocks of artificial intelligence, because that is what this picture shows. It looks like the periodic table of elements, obviously, and that's kind of the explanation that we often use. is not just one artificial intelligence or machine learning. It's made of a lot of modules, a lot of building blocks, and we used a lot of them. So the first one I highlighted was the kind of natural language recognition capability. The second one there at the bottom is the data analysis. We have problem-solving capabilities, of course. That was important for us. Learning abilities, of course. And these are all parts of artificial intelligence and machine learning.
So Pierre, I see blank spots. I see no boxes around some of the elements. Is that the future? How do you see that?
Yeah, good question. It's some of these parts are definitely in the future roadmap of what we are continue to build with performance insights within Turing. Not all of them have a use case at the moment, but Elastic being future-proof, I am sure that we will find use cases that will fill up some of these blank spots. So with that, I want to jump into the live demo. For the sake of time, I know it's kind of, we could talk for hours about this,
yeah.
But we have kind of a strict deadline or strict time limitation. So I'm not going to log in and log back out as different users. What I'm going to show you is kind of a combined view. So various viewpoints, taken from the various users that could use our solution. So we'll have some more of the manager types, the system administrators, the system owners. So the top left-hand side would be a typical team lead dashboard. Looking at applications, users, and business. Right next to it is more of a manager type dashboard who is obviously responsible for retail and concerned with the IT landscape, the health of it. So it will be like a kind of a rolled up view. At the bottom, you'll see kind of the business super view in a way, right? So how does the business perform in business terms? And right next to it is maybe a more typical system administrator dashboard. So this is for a system admin who is responsible for virtualized servers and CPU and disk. And I'm going to start with that. So this is your typical metric view, right? For a CPU on the left-hand side, disk on the right-hand side, and the metrics that go with that. So if we go back to the manager view, you'll see that is a more rolled up viewpoint. So the manager is concerned with the applications he's responsible for his part of the retail business. And in this case, that's a bunch of websites, which they're obviously healthy, 82%. And right next to it, we have a number of CRM applications. For us, the health numbers do not mean anything without load. So that's what you see in the bottom, 560 visits for the website and some users on the CRM side. What the manager is able to do is drill down and drill back up in different types of views. So for instance, this is a kind of a business flow, right? So like the user or her customer would see it. So a very different view from what we saw earlier. And obviously there's a problem with the login page and it looks like it's related to multi-factor authentication. If this manager would like to take another drill down and perhaps take a more technical look because there is a problem that needs resolving, he could take a virtualization look, and you'll recognize this from what the engineer saw earlier. So in this way, we can combine the various data points because they are centralized, and we can provide different viewpoints for different type of users. If we go back to the last dashboard, I want to show you the business super view, if you will. So really about the performance, and this is a virtual company, right? So this could be performance of sales over a long time. This could talk about shipped items, and none of those processes happen anymore without digital systems underneath it, right? Like you said, Eric, like IT underneath it. So it's a big span of time, right? We're looking at about 12 months of data. And you know, you have seasonal fluctuations, you have transformation programs, all these things have an impact on this. So what if you would like to see what this picture looks like 1 month from now? So we're capable of doing that thanks to AI and machine learning. So let's take a look. We take all the data and we apply a model to it, like you would do a weather forecast. Take a month from now, and this is, you see that on the right hand side, that is what we predict will happen in the future. Of course, like with weather, you know, the further you extend that prediction, the less accurate it will become. But that's how it works. The last thing I want to show you on this landing page is the right hand side. This is the integration with the ITSM tooling. So, and it is not just like a pass-through of all the kind of the ticket information. This is where anomaly detection comes into play. So we put things on the timeline if they are an anomaly, right? So if they are different from what we normally see. And again, that would not be possible by hand. It's simply too much. So we need AI and machine learning for that. Yeah, in a nutshell, this is what Performance Insights is capable of doing, powered by Elastic. And with that, Eric, to give the word back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Pierre. You've shown all these very cutting-edge dashboards. Yeah, well, as you know, in consulting, it usually takes a lot of time to create such an overview of your company. How does that work with Turing then?
Yeah, it's you mentioned, you know, our background has been in performance consulting many years, and we have applied that to, you know, the dashboards that you've seen. Literally, the dashboards that I demonstrated, they would be part of what we put with a customer right from day one. So this is effectively out of the box.
Unbelievable. So basically, you say you give an overview of the business to the manager, and the manager can instantly see what investments he needs to do to get this business going.
Correct.
On the top level, of course, Pierre. Yeah. Definitely.
We like to call it scenario-based decision making sometimes. That's depending on the business, of course, but yeah, that's what we're capable of doing.
Okay, instant results. The Turing and Elastic combination is powerful, out of the box. And that is because Elastic has the data management platform, has the AI that Turing powers. So instantly you get all this knowledge within the AI that show you instant results. We have cases in a matter of weeks we give results that are really good insights. For the future, we see the challenge growing and growing, like I said. However, Elastic has our back. They develop their AI. We can make use of the future developments to make sure that we keep up with challenges in the future. So, a really powerful combination based on AI and the data platform of Elastic. That is really what it's about. So if you want more information, visit our website or contact us via LinkedIn or give us a call. We're ready for you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.